Ladies and gentlemen, this is TVP World. You're watching another edition of Military Mind, bringing you news from the front lines. I'm your host, Benjamin Lee. Russian forces attacked Ukrainian territory overnight into Monday using more than 150 strike drones. Ukrainian military officials reported drone impacts at 10 locations across the country. The strikes caused damage and casualties in several regions. In the city of Shostka in the Sumy region, Russian attacks damaged residential buildings and non-residential facilities. In Kherson, 2 people were wounded, according to local authorities. They suffered blast injuries, concussions, and facial wounds. Several drones also struck a multi-story building in the city center, damaging walls, ceilings, and windows in residential apartments. Elsewhere in the region, 1 person was killed and 12 others were wounded as a result of the attacks. Around 14,000 people were left without electricity after Russian strikes in the Chernihiv region, where civilian infrastructure was damaged. Local officials reported multiple attacks overnight using both FPV drones and strike drones. 1 man was injured during one of the attacks, and in Russia, a Ukrainian drone struck a multi-story residential building in Moscow, less than 10 kilometers from the Kremlin. According to local authorities, no casualties were reported. Ukrainian monitoring sources say the drone was a full-scale strike UAV of the FP-1 type, marking one of the closest recorded drone incidents near the Kremlin in recent times. On the front line, Russian forces are increasing offensive activity in the Dobopilya salient. Russian command has redeployed additional units to this sector and is attempting to push its kill zone deeper into Ukrainian positions. Russian forces are actively using the northwestern parts of Pokrovsk, including industrial zones and high-rise buildings, to deploy equipment and drone launch positions. This reduces flight time for drones and increases their effectiveness against Ukrainian frontline units and nearby tactical rear areas. At the same time, Russian forces are moving military equipment from the direction of Selidove and through Marinokhrad into the southeastern part of Pokrovsk, taking advantage of terrain features in the Pokrovsk-Marinokhrad urban area. Despite the pressure, Ukrainian forces are managing to carry out occasional successful counterattacks against advancing Russian units. Ukrainian command is currently focusing heavily on controlling the airspace over the sector, particularly above Pokrovsk, in an effort to limit the effectiveness of Russian drone operations. Ukrainian defense forces continue to rewrite the rules of naval warfare, bringing the fight directly to the shores of the aggressive state. Recently, the Black Sea again became the scene of a successful operation as Ukrainian unmanned surface vessels attacked 2 oil tankers belonging to Russia's Shadow Fleet near the port of Novorossiysk. The port is a key hub for exporting Russian energy resources, and the fleet is the Kremlin's primary tool for bypassing international sanctions. These vessels lack proper insurance and clear identification markings, and they are funding the continuation of the aggression. Every Russian tanker carrying blood oil is now considered a legitimate target for Ukrainian maritime drones. Ukrainian Su-27 and MiG-29 fighter jets continue to carry out extremely challenging missions in active combat zones. A recent series of airstrikes against Russian targets in the Donetsk and Zaporizhia region has confirmed that Ukrainian airspace remains a battlefield where the Ukrainian Air Force operates with professionalism and devastating effectiveness. Every sortie is a result of detailed reconnaissance and precise calculations. In this op, the primary targets were critical nodes that ensured the survivability of Russian units on the front lines. Footage captured by a Ukrainian reconnaissance drone near the village of Svitle provides further evidence of Russians' terrorist tactics. While returning from a mission, the drone recorded a massive barrage of fire from Russian BM-21 Grad multiple rocket launchers. Russian forces continue to use these systems as a tool for indiscriminate attacks, blanketing large areas in fire in an attempt to crush the Ukrainian will to resist. Russia continues to systematically attack Ukraine's logistic hubs. This time, a Shad drone struck a mainline locomotive. The video clearly shows the moment the UAV approached and the powerful explosion that instantly reduced the multi-ton steel machine to a pile of mangled metal. The depot workers managed to escape.
Серая наша! Серый, чаечка.
For paratroopers, logistics is a matter of life and death. Every meter of the road to the front lines must be safe, but the Russian army is trying to choke off Ukrainian units using modern technology and insidious methods. Ukrainian fighters from the Wild Division of the 82nd Separate Airborne Assault Brigade have begun systematic efforts to destroy everything that hinders the movement of convoys bringing in vital supplies. And finally, we'd like to show you a video that isn't strictly military, but is still quite interesting. Have you ever wondered how drones might have their capabilities put to use in everyday life or in the future after the war? Well, we have the answer. And with that footage, we conclude this edition of Military Mind. But for more news, update, and commentary, please stay tuned to TVP World.